Next 2128 here to give you his weekend wrestling roundup. And let me be blunt with something. In regards to what happened with the Elimination Chamber, having watched it through Discord, it sucked. We all knew Lesnar was going to win the WWE title, just not in the way it happened. Lashley getting taken out of action before he even got in the ring and pulled out of the match due to concussion protocol. And then Lesnar just knocking out Rollins, Riddle, AJ, and Theory. We all knew that was going to happen. So now we're getting a title unification match between him and Roman for both the WWE and Universal titles at WrestleMania. We also knew Bianca was going to win the Women's Chamber match to get Becky at WrestleMania. No duh, DeLuna. Of course it was fucking predictable. I mean, that's the problem I have with Vince doing these shows in Saudi Arabia. They're essentially throwaway shows. Why even do them when you know the outcomes? Plus, for political reasons, I think he's just doing it to make blood money. I've been vocal against this for years, since he started this crap back in 2018. That being said, WrestleMania looks like it's starting to build itself up. As for The Undertaker getting into the Hall of Fame, leading the 2022 Hall of Fame class, should have been done in 2018, not 2022. Why did it take so long to get the dead man into the HOF? I'll never understand. Moving on to Impact Wrestling, which had its No Surrender event later on that night in New Orleans. There weren't any title swaps, but there were a couple of swerves. One, Jay White has kicked G.O.D. out of Bullet Club and brought the Good Brothers back in. This is going to lead to a shakeup with the core unit. Knowing Bad Luck Fale, he is going to be pissed with what Jay just pulled. Now, keep in mind, Jay White has been stuck here in the States for almost a year now. And personally, I just want him to go away and go back to Japan and get his ass kicked for simply abdicating his post as leader of Bullet Club, allowing the House of Torture to run amok. But that's just me. Then came the main event of Team Impact against Honor No More. It was supposed to be Eddie Edwards, Steve Macklin, Rhino, Rich Swann, Edwards, Macklin, Swann, Rhino, and Chris Sabin against OGK, Vincent. AB, how about you shut up? Piece of shit. Anyway, it was OGK, Vincent, PCO, and Kenny King against Sabin, Rhino, Swann, Macklin replacing Josh Alexander, and it was supposed to be Eddie Edwards, but he got taken out and replaced with Willie Mack. Here's how it ended. Ref's down. Eddie Edwards comes out with Kenny the Kendo stick in hand. You think he's going to hit Maria, but he forces her out. But instead, he clocks Rhino and Team Impact, allowing Honor No More to stay in Impact, essentially throwing away his moniker as Heart and Soul of Impact. I think in hindsight now, Scott D'Amore realizes he just made a mistake in sending Josh Alexander home. Now, he's going to have to reinstate the walking weapon. But knowing Josh, he's not going to come back unless he gets one thing out of it. And what is that thing he wants? Something he's been after since getting gypped out of it at Bound for Glory. He wants Moose for the Impact World title. And at the soonest, Scott will grant this match if he gets rid of Honor No More, helps decimate Honor No More. And if that happens, Josh gets his crap. He'll get his opportunity at Moose April the 23rd, 2300 Arena at Rebellion. At the latest, it's either going to be in July at Slammiversary or in October at Bound for Glory. Personally, I think it's going to happen at Slammiversary, though I would love to see it at Rebellion in Philly on April the 23rd. But that's cutting it a little close. In New Japan, we have new champions. First, the IWGP Junior Tag titles swapped because I don't like trolls like you, AB. I do not have a laurel in my life, whatever the hell that means. So piss off. Anyway, we have new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Champs in Team 6 or 9, Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato, who won a fatal 4-way against Flying Tigers, Bullet Club Kita's tag team, Tai Chi Ishimori and El Phantasmo, the latter of whom has now been exposed as a fraud, with his son Death actually being a boot loaded with a hunk of metal, and Suzuki Gun duo of Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado. It ended when Taguchi got, I believe, Dodon's throne on Tiger Mask. No, brother. Raph, can you get rid of a few of these guys? Anyway. Thank you. As I was saying, then in the main event of the first night in Sapporo on Saturday, Sanada of Los Ingobernables de Japón defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to become the new IWGP US Heavyweight Champion. Then on Sunday, the King of Pro Wrestling 2022 provisional title swapped hands when Toru Yano defeated Minoru Suzuki in a dog cage death match, where basically to win, you had to get your opponent in a dog cage and lock it. I mean, lock him inside it. It ended with Suzuki leading Yano by a leash, figuratively and literally, with a dog collar around his neck, and threw both of them in the cage. However, Yano had managed to unhook the leash from the collar, or handcuff Suzuki to the leash, and get out with him and trap Suzuki in the cage. I am not a racist, Ted Bundy, but if someone starts throwing racist rhetoric in my chat, I will throw them out. In other words, no race baiting allowed in here. I've made that abundantly clear when I've done this sort of thing. Thanks, Raph. Oh, great. Fucking trolls. You assholes want me to get rid of all of you? Anyway. And then, of course, Okada avenged his Wrestle Kingdom 14 Night 2. Nah, Yokozuna's dead, G. He's been dead for 22 years, dude. Get with the times, dumbass. Anyway, I am not hateful. I'm just very willing to call out hypocritical individuals who believe they're being social justice warriors or by trying to frame me as a racist when they themselves are the racist N-word lover. And speaking of which, you are doing that, trying to label me as a hateful individual. Thank you, Aaron. Aaron Kosharski. Sharksky. Anyway, before I lose my focus again because of certain trolls choosing to be a bunch of dicks in here, we now move on to the New Japan Cup. And personally, I do not like how this tournament is set up. 48 men, 16 of them getting buys in the first round, and Kazuchika Okada, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion himself, is actually participating this year. Why do they have to break the rules? I get COVID crap is still running amok in Japan in terms of the regulations, when by now most nations are getting rid of their restrictions. But do you really need to throw the entire roster into this tournament? I mean, it's so asymmetrical. I mean, you could if I was Sugabayashi, I'd reach out to Noah, All Japan, DDT, GLEAT, Ganbare Pro, or even Choco Pro and see if they can let you borrow a few wrestlers to use for the tournament. Here's the tournament bracket stack up. The wrestlers getting buys: Master Wato, Hiroshi Tenzan, Dick Togo, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Bad Luck Fale, Gedo, Satoshi Kojima, Kosei Fujita, a young lion, Taiji Ishimori, Doki, Sonata, El Phantasmo, Tongaloa, Tiger Mask, Tama Tonga, and Minoru Suzuki. Now, you're going to ask me, what's my problem with Okada being in the tournament if he's just trying to prove himself? Well, here's the thing. Bad enough that the winner of this tournament, for him anyway, that the winner of this tournament faces him at Sakura Genesis on April the 9th in Ryogoku. Making it worse, I mean, that puts a big enough target on his back as is. What makes it worse is that by putting himself in the tournament, it basically ensures that whoever beats him in the tournament gets a future title shot down the line. And if should he be one of the finalists at the end of the road and he loses at Sakura Genesis, he automatically gets to cash in his rematch at Dontaku on May 1st in Fukuoka. That's my problem with this. New Japan, the new BH. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Anyway, let's run down the first round matches we do have. I'll start on the right hand side of the bracket. First up, the returning Kota Ibushi against the Great O-Khan. This is the first time these two are going to meet one-on-one. Winner of this faces the Bone Soldier from Bullet Club, Tai Chi Ishimori. Ibushi is just having coming back from suffering a separated shoulder in the finals of the previous G1 climax. A match he had against Okada where he missed the Phoenix Splash and landed so badly it popped his shoulder out of his socket. And the fact that it's taken him almost 5 months to get back is a bit telling. Okan has been basically making a heck of an accounting of himself for me if one were to ask how he's been doing. As an advocate, as someone who's representing the United Empire faction. Ibushi is representing the New Japan home team, the core unit. Who wins? I'm going to say Ibushi. He's on a road to redemption. Okan's getting knocked out in round 1. But then again, I've been wrong before. I said Naito would beat Okan in round 1 last year, and that didn't happen. Young Lion Ryohei Oiwa versus Zack Sabre Jr. Zack wins this one. Young Lions are only in this tournament for 2 things. 1, gain experience before they go on their own excursions. 2, to simply be cannon fodder. The damage sponges. Zack is going to tie this kid up in knots, and at the end of the day, all he's going to be able to do is just tap out. Give up. Winner of this faces Suzuki Gun's Toki. In another matchup, another young lion, Yuto Nakashima, battles the United Empire's Aaron Hanare. The winner of this faces IWGP US Heavyweight Champion Sanada. Hanare's winning, same reason as Ryohei versus Zack. Nakashima's in there as damage, as cannon fodder. No more, no less. Next up, in round 2, Bushi versus former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the leader of the United Empire, the Commonwealth Kingpin, Will Ospreay. Now, if this is Ospreay's way of gaining a redemption and proving he really deserved to be the world champion and do something that hasn't been done since 2009, 2010, win back-to-back New Japan Cups, Bushi is a stepping stone. The winner of this could, regardless of who wins it between the two, will easily defeat El Phantasmo, especially with the storyline they're doing with Phantasmo, i.e., he's not willing to throw sudden death because without that hunk of metal in his boot, he doesn't have the confidence that he can knock somebody out with it. And for those wondering, yes, if you watched Wrestle Kingdom 16 Day 2, Phantasmo was exposed as a fraud. Sudden death was actually just him loading a hunk of metal into his boot. Tomohiro Ishii versus Shingo Takagi. Winner of this faces a newly kicked out of Bullet Club, Tanga Loa. Ishii representing the faction of Chaos, Shingo, Los Ingobernables de Japón. Shingo had one hell of a run in last year's New Japan Cup, making it all the way to the finals, getting a first round win over Okada, getting a huge win over Kenta over Evil in the semis. Maybe it was Kenta, I don't remember. But whichever one it was. And of course, the bangers during the G1 climax the past 2 years that Ishii and Shingo have had with each other. Strong style and hoss fight incarnate with these two. But I'm going to say Shingo finally gets one over on the Stone Pitbull in a tournament affair. The Dragon is putting the Pitbull down. And then he's got a Silverback to deal with. Next up, Chase Owens against Jotto. I'm going to take the crown jewel in this one. The winner faces Tiger Mask. And then, oh boy, I'm really going to hate this one. Ryusuke Taguchi against Evil. Now, I'm going to be blunt. I hate both of these guys. Taguchi, because he's just a comic relief dumbass whose basic bread and butter tactic is hitting people with his damn ass. No joke. And Evil, ever since hopping ship from LIJ to Bullet Club and forming his own subgroup, the House of Torture, I've hated him because it's something I don't like with a heel wrestler. This is why I respect Osprey more than I respect Evil. Osprey, he can play dirty if he wants to, but he's always showing he's above those tactics. Like Zack, he's more than willing to beat you straight up. Evil, on the other hand, it's almost mandatory and obligatory that the same bullshit shenanigans are going to happen. He's going to ram his opponent into the guardrail where the timekeeper's table is. He's going to have Dick remove the turnbuckle pad, have Dick distract the referee, have Dick Togo come out with a Garrett and strangle his opponent. But here's the thing. In my opinion, I think he's going to just view Taguchi as a little more than an afterthought. And I am taking Evil to win this match. And that's what pisses me off about it. Winner of this faces Tama Tonga. And aside from his brother, Tama is going to need some level of backup. But now that he's not in Bullet Club, he doesn't have Jotto, Chase, or Fale to back him up. Speaking of House of Torture shenanigans, we're going to get even more of it. Hiromu Takahashi versus Sho in the final first round match on the right hand end of the bracket. These two met in Best of Super Juniors, and Sho screwed Hiromu. And then Sho tried to screw Hiromu and Yo in the Best of the Super Juniors finals. Let me put it like this, Yo, you stupid ass piece of shit. You brought what happened to you in BUSJ on yourself. That loss to Kanemaru you suffered when you had won, which led to small blemish after your first 6 matches where you won 5 of them, really got you. And once you started taking on the guys like Robbie Eagles, Phantasmo, Ishimori, Yo, and I don't remember who else and Yo, those 4 figured you out. Those 4 knew your tactics inside and out. Ishimori and Phantasmo, especially since they're part of Bullet Club, so they would know what you would be up to and were able to beat you. You got outfoxed and lost your cool, losing your last 4 after you won 6 of your first 7 through foul methods. You can dish the cheating, out the cheating, but you can't fucking take it. And that's what pisses you off, Sho. Cue mic drop. That, my friends, has been a shoot. That was fucking real. Personally, Raph, I prefer to bounce around promotions. I've been to shows from Impact, Ring of Honor, an NXT show, even though I missed half of it. And that was back when they were doing house shows on tour on the road. And my local promotion, PWX, the Premier Wrestling Experience. Though this weekend, I'm actually going to a Major League Wrestling show in Charlotte. That being said, let's get back on topic. Winner of that match faces Minoru of this match faces Minoru Suzuki. And let me just say, Suzuki is not going to be in a good mood after basically getting the King of Pro Wrestling provisional title taken from him by Yano, a man who's been a thorn in his side. And whichever one of them comes out of that match, the winner, let's just say Suzuki is going to murder them. And I would love it if Sho wins this match so Suzuki can kill him and send him back to the House of Torture in a fucking coffin. And as for the tactics Sho has been using ever since joining House of Torture, it's basically like this. 1, get the referee knocked out. 2, low blow. 3, go for the wrench. Go for his favorite tool, which is a wrench. And then 4, hit the opponent with either shock arrow or snake bite, his finishing moves, and get the win that way. But let's move on. On the left-hand end of the bracket, IWGP World Heavyweight Champ Kazuchika Okada of Chaos takes on Suzuki-gun's IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion El Desperado. Now, let me say this. Of all the wrestlers in New Japan that benefited from the pandemic, Desperado has benefited out of it the most. 2021 was his year to be the top dog in the junior division. And we have seen how far this guy has come. He's now a 2-time junior champion. He has challenged for the world title last year. He's also a multi-time junior tag champ with Kanemaru. This guy is starting to really hone himself hold his own. But will he hold his own against Okada? Yes. But will he beat him? No. So I say Okada wins this matchup. Winner of this faces co-holder of the junior tag titles, Master Wato. Next up, Toru Yano of Chaos, the KOPW 2022 provisional champ, against Tai Chi. Winner of this faces Hiroshi Tenzan. I'm going to take Yano-san to win this. Sure, Tai Chi will try to out Yano, but no one outwits the sublime master thief. So, yeah, I'm going Yano. Yuji Nagata against Blue Justice Yuji Nagata versus the Fierce Warrior and co-holder of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, Hiroki Goto. Goto has won this tournament 3 times. Nagata, I believe, has won it either once or twice. Let me double check. He has won it twice, 2007 and 2011. Goto, as I mentioned, has won it 3 times, 2009, 2010, and 2012. Oh, Sakura Genesis this year is being called Hyper Battle. Okay. But whatever. I'm going to take Goto to win this one. Winner of this faces the House of Torture's Dick Togo. And personally, I hope Goto cuts Togo's head off in the second round. Next up, from GLEAT and representing Strong Hearts, CIMA against Suzuki-gun's Taka Michinoku. Ever since coming back from injury in 2019 and basically running his own promotion, Just Tap Out, Taka has always gotten the short end of the stick in matches. But he is still a foundational piece of Suzuki-gun. But I still believe he's going to get rocked by CIMA, and CIMA will move on to face Yoshinobu Kanemaru, another member of Suzuki-gun. Next up, Hiroshi Tanahashi against Chaos member Yo. Tanahashi, like Nagata, has also won this tournament twice. 2005, he won the inaugural cup, and in 2008, he won it. Yo is in a bit of a. He has had his wheel spinning lately. He's traded wins and losses with his former tag partner, Sho. Yo's got that fire in him, don't get me wrong. But can he get over the hump of putting Sho behind him and moving on to something else? Honestly, I don't think he is. And when you're going up against the ace of the company, who recently dropped the US title, Tanahashi's going to be more driven to get another crack at the world title. So I'm going to take Tanahashi to win. Winner of this faces the underboss, Bad Luck Fale. Next up is Tetsuya Naito of Los Ingobernables de Japón, facing co-holder of the Never Openweight six-man tag titles, representing Bullet Club's House of Torture, Yujiro Takahashi. Winner of this gets Gato in round 2. Naito this is an interesting matchup. These are two men who know each other fairly well. They were once tag partners as part of a team in 09 to 10 called No Limit. They ended up joining Chaos, and then Yujiro kicked Naito out of Chaos and put him on the shelf in 2012 for a good portion of a year until Naito came back in 2013 and got his revenge. They've gone different paths since. Yujiro turned his back on Chaos in 2014 and joined Bullet Club. Naito was not getting over with the home team crap with fans of the Hontai, despite being the ultra babyface. 2015, he got sent on excursion to CMLL in Mexico and joined the original Los Ingobernables, and then came back and formed Los Ingobernables de Japón that fall. And it's led him to quite a bit of success. 6 runs as IWGP Intercontinental Champion, 3 runs as IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and a brief stint alongside Sonata as IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. Very brief stint. But here's the thing with Naito. When he's been in the tournament since winning it back in 2016, he hasn't gotten out of the first round. Forced to tap out by Zack in 2018. Got beat by Kota Ibushi in 2019. That one getting Ibushi an IWGP Intercontinental title shot in Madison Square Garden at the Supercard, which was match of the night, in my opinion. Last year, got his knee beat up so badly by the Great Khan that the ref had to stop the match. Yujiro is not above taking shortcuts. And if the rest of the House of Torture is nearby, Naito better have backup in the form of the rest of Los Ingobernables de Japón. If Naito has that backup, he wins. If he doesn't, Yujiro is going to steal this one right out from underneath him. That said, I'm going to take Naito to win this matchup. Next up, Toki Makabe against United Empire's Jeff Cobb. No question, I'm taking Cobb. They have been pushing Makabe down the card since 2015, his last major singles push when he was the Never Openweight champion. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Evil is both Never Openweight champ and co-holder of the Never Openweight six-man tag team titles. Forgot about that mention. Winner of this faces and probably beats Satoshi Kojima. Final matchup on the first round left end of the bracket, Tomoaki Honma versus Chaos's Yoshihashi. I am taking Yoshihashi to win this. And the winner of that would easily defeat Young Lion Kosei Fujita anyway. We go into round two. I'm going to say Okada over Wado, Yano over Tenzan, Goto over Togo. I'm going to say Sema over Kanemaru, Fale over Tanahashi, believe it or not, because let's face it, Fale has always been a roadblock of a wrestler when he's in the New Japan Cup. And he's a two-time finalist of the tournament, coming up short against Shinsuke Nakamura in 2014 and coming up short against Katsuyori Shibata in 2017. No, I was never a wrestler. Or AB. I'm just a fan of the sport. And I've never been a professional wrestler. Naito over Gato, Cobb over Kojima, Yoshihashi over Fujita on the left hand bracket. On the right hand bracket, Ibushi over Ishimori, ZSJ over Doki. I'm going to go Sonata over Hanare, Osprey over ELP, Shingo over Tangaloa, Chase Owens over Tiger Mask, Evil over Tamatanga, Suzuki over Show. Now, using those for my quarterfinal base, for my round of 16. Okada over Yano. Oh, Sema over Kanemaru. I skipped that one, I think. Goto over Sema. Naito over Fale. Cobb over Yoshihashi on the left hand. On the right, Zack over Ibushi. Ibushi over Zack. Osprey over Sonata. Shingo over Chase. I hate to say this one. Evil over Suzuki. In the quarters, give me Okada over Goto. Cobb over Naito. Osprey over Ibushi. Shingo over Evil. In the semis, I'm going to take Okada over Cobb and Osprey over Shingo. This leads to the final between Okada and Osprey, and I believe it's going to be Will Osprey winning this. Now, should this happen, Osprey will win on April the 9th, and then Okada will invoke his rematch as his right as runner-up of the tournament, as the tournament's first runner-up usually gets the next immediate title shot. As we've seen in 2017, 2018, 2019, and last year, in 4 of the last 5 tournaments. Am I a prophet? No, I am not. But that being said, I'm looking at this from a window of logic and analytics, which is how I look at a lot of things in sports, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, but especially professional wrestling. That's how I look at this. How I'm looking at this through that lens. We start on the 2nd in the Budokan with this tournament, and we end on the 27th in Osaka-jo Hall. Leave your picks in the comment section below. Leave a comment, smash the likes, sub to the channel. This is Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye. Good night. Bang.